What was the meanest thing somebody said to you about your height? I'm a 5'8-5'9" girl, and one time a guy was trying to insult me after I rejected him by calling me a giraffe, lol. One time someone told me real women were 5 feet 4 inches and under. I was 12 at the time, standing at 5 feet 5 inches. Now I'm 6 at 18. I'm 411 and I work with kids. Someone once asked me how the hell kids and teenagers take me seriously when I'm shorter than them. I'm around 5'1" or 5'2", and my mom once told me that because I was short I looked fat. I thought I was a pretty average height and I'm not overweight, but it made me a bit insecure about my body. Also, this isn't really mean but more scary. When guys look at me and just point out how short I am and smile like they're planning something. I know they are probably just teasing me, but if a 6'tall guy looks down at me and grins, it's a bit unsettling from my perspective. My cousin's sister, 6'3", is always taunted by her relatives by saying, "How are we going to find you a husband now? Sick daughters of bastards." 4 feet 10 inches with a baby face. Walked up to my college's meal plan help desk and didn't get to say anything before the attendant said, "What are you, 12? We don't serve 12-year-olds here." So I try to laugh it off and say, "You should see my mom, she's even shorter than me." To which he replies, "And how old is she?" 13. And I'm just like, "Can I get you to activate my card so I can eat now?" I am 6'1" and get ghosted if I don't put my height in my profile description. Men whine about height privilege, but some guys will get outright hostile with me for existing in their vicinity. It usually doesn't take long for a guy's Napoleon complex to come through. Ironically, I don't mind dating shorter guys. On the plus side, I don't get sexually harassed as much as my peers. I don't have to worry about walking or running alone at night. I'm 30 and have yet to be sent an unwanted dick pic. Guys take me seriously when I say no. My height is essentially a built-in creep deterrent. My mother used to talk shit to me all the time because I didn't end up being 6 tall like she is. My mere 5 feet 8 inches was a massive disappointment to her. As if I'd not grown on purpose to disappoint her and make her angry. In 5th grade I was called Bigfoot cause I was the tallest kid in class and had a shoe size of 9 in women's. I now wear 11. I'm 5'3". The worst I've been called has been midget by my ex-husband who was 6 feet, dude was an ass in many ways. Usually I am joked about as being fun-sized, which doesn't really bother me too much as long as people don't rest their arms on my head. I'm 5'8" and a guy said girls who are tall aren't smart. Like, what? It wasn't mean exactly, but one year in high school I convinced my mom to buy me some tall heels for Easter. I snuck them out and practiced walking in them. They weren't excessively tall but definitely were the tallest shoes I ever owned. All anyone talked to me about that day was about how tall my shoes made me, how I was too tall now, even exclaiming across the room. I think a lot of the adults didn't like that I could physically look down at them. I took the shoes off as soon as I went home and never wore them in public again. I went from feeling grown up and pretty to like a freak. I basically never wear heels now. My stupid year 11 roll call teacher. She told me to act ladylike and wear makeup, and then followed it up with, "You're too short to look a real lady normally, so you need to wear makeup that makes you look older and like a lady." Not even sure. There were tons of awful things said to me as a child/teen about it, but most of the comments as an adult are just stupid rather than mean. One of my dad's friends was the school dare officer when I was 13 and he would loudly call me Amazonian woman in the halls because I was tall and big for my age. It was mortifying. I'm 5'0", and many times been told I guess you don't need knee pads. A few years ago I was a little thick, not fat but type the C, and I'm 5'8". My good friend made a joke that I'm an Amazonian woman. I laughed, but sheesh, that hurt. I got pretty fit after that. I grew early. I'm 58 as an adult, but was a super tall kid in middle school. My nickname was Amazon. Until I was 12 I was the tallest kid in my grade and the kids used to call me the Jolly Green Giant. That I look like a stump. Everyone wants to fuck a woman your height because it's something different, but no man in his right mind would ever date a woman your height because he'd be ashamed to introduce her to his friends or family. I'm 60. Once someone called me a troll doll. But I thought it was kind of funny. From a friend's, short, "Dad, you shouldn't wear heels." I was only a teenager and thought I'd dressed up nice. I'm 5 feet 3 inches and I was dating a guy who was rather tall in high school. At first it wasn't what he said, but rather the things he did. He'd manhandle me, pat me on the head, and treat me like I was small and weak, which, in retrospect, was true, but never mind that. One day he put his arm on my shoulder and put his full weight on me and said, "Oh sorry, you're just the perfect height. Can you just stand like that for a bit? This is nice." What an asshole. You're way too tall to pretend you're some dainty little flower. Among other insults of what I'll never be because of how I look. Not me, but my boyfriend at the time was around my height, 53. My dad met him and immediately commented that he wanted his future grandkids to be able to see a parade. My dad's a jerk. I can't imagine how my partner's height affected my dad in any way. The guy was really nice and one of my best relationships. The meanest thing I've been told about my height is that it's pretty average. I hope someone got the joke. I'm 6'1". Grocery store cashier said, "Wow, you must have a hard time finding men who want to be with you. Can't insult my height if I don't care." The meanest was probably that I wasn't allowed to date anyone over 5'8" because I wasn't on their level and people should date their own kind. She was just mad her ex-BF, who she dumped and hadn't been nice to for years, was interested in me. He was 5'11". She was 6'1". Didn't bother me, they both sucked. Not all that mean, but my pet peeve is people apologize for telling me I'm short in group pictures like, "Oh, sorry, but you should stand in the front row." It's not insulting that I'm short, it's insulting that you think it's an insult. In first grade, my best friend stopped being my best friend because she said I was too tall to hang out with her. I did grow quickly in elementary to middle school, but I stand at a proud 57 now. It was at my first driving test to get my driver's license. The examinator lady was really rude in general, didn't even greet me or introduced herself. She immediately questioned me about my height and asked if I was sure about it multiple times, despite having my ID card in her hands. The part that got me was when she asked me if I could reach the car pedals with my feet, basically questioning my ability to drive even before turning on the car. I'm small, 158 centimeters, but not that small. I know people that drive and are a lot shorter than me. I know it probably sounds dumb, but I'm pretty self-conscious about it, and it was the first time a stranger older than me, was 18 at the time, was so childish over my height. I immediately knew she was going to fail me, which she did, and for something that wasn't even my fault. That because of my height, 5 feet 9 inches, I'd scare guys and I shouldn't wear heels. Now I wear heels whenever I want, and I've been with taller and shorter guys with no problem. A lot of people called me stilts from like 7th grade until I graduated from high school. Middle school girls are a special kind of cruel. I am tall, for a girl in my country. The average height for a woman here is 162 centimeters, and I am 6'2", like damn, 2/3 of it is. I've played football for my school and well, hurtful comments are unavoidable, but I handle them fine anyways. They call you a giraffe and other sh*t, but that's the best they can come up with. I teach. When I graduated college, my aunt asked me how it feels having all the kids be taller than me. My boyfriend's mom has also made jokes about my height. My least favorite is her calling me a garden gnome, and his aunt told me I look 12, I'm 23. Another time I went to a meeting for work and a secretary at the building laughed and said I look like a student, not a teacher. So many times have I been mistaken for a student. I don't know if these comments are necessarily mean per se, but it's definitely frustrating not being taken as seriously because of my height, something I can't control.